Right, we're going to go on to Waikura. Jake. Was Sally too scared to come? Was Sally too scared to come?
She had a CDHB meeting on. So thank you for juggling the agenda and making room for me. So I'm happy to take most of the report as read and just highlight obviously the Part A as well as a couple of other smaller things. So the Part A was regarding the tea kiosk in Hagley Park. There were four proposals for the use of this. Three were deemed commercial, and one was classified as non-commercial. We put a note on this to go to you guys that basically said we wanted some greater clarity from staff around what is commercial and what is non-commercial, because we felt there was one proposal from the existing tenant that could have some, well, that does have some non-commercial benefit, and we just kind of wanted to be able to compare apples with apples and get some clarity about how those two things are defined. The other thing I wanted to pull out was the leave granted to the Community Board and the District Licensing Committee for a lawyer to appear on our behalf around the 375 Ferry Road liquor store. So we're still just sort of waiting to hear a little bit more about this. As well as that, I wanted also to mention the Rose Chapel Historic Trust. So that's going out. When is that? Sorry, I'm having trouble finding my notes. That's being advertised soon anyway for the use of that building. And
I think you can book it now, actually.
Sorry, say that one again. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. Well, that's my report then.
Thank you very much indeed, Jake. Are there any questions from anyone? Sarah.
Not a question, but just going to point out just on the screen behind Vicky's head. We had the opening of the Rapanui Grot Cycleway over the holidays as well, and I've got to say that once those daffodil bulbs are out, it's going to, I mean, people are loving it already. There are lots of people using it all the time. It's really high amenity, it's safe, and once that whole route is complete, I would think that would be our next winner. So,
yeah, that's next year's entry, I think. I went for a bike ride down it.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. It's not quite as beautiful as the one in Riccarton, but it's pretty beautiful.
The town section is missing the greenery.
It's actually stunning. It's really stunning. Yeah. Pauline.
Can I just add to that too, that it's actually, that idea to run the cycleway down the median between the trees actually came in a bit later on, and it was a really good idea, but the tricky thing is to be able to do that without damaging the tree roots. So the whole way that they've done that has been fantastic. Something like 3,600 square metres of porous pavers. They've planted another 150 new trees where they're currently being planted, and they've actually planted more daffodil bulbs as well. So I think it is arguably the most beautiful one. It will be.
Fair enough.
The section, but it's really special there, and it's a wonderful asset for Christchurch. So we really are starting to get the runs on the board with these cycleways, and as I said at the opening, everyone that's open is going to make it more easy for everyone to see what an incredible vision this is for the city. Once we get the 13 connected cycleway routes finished, it's one project. It's an incredible visionary project, and it's just going to be wonderful, but little by little it's starting to appear. And as Sarah said, Christchurch has been quite well respected around the country for having this vision, and people are looking to us, and we're very lucky that we're out of the starting gate as we are, because we're able to access that NZTA funding, which can be up to 50%, sometimes more, and it's a huge help. So we were actually ready to go when all those announcements came out, and with the Urban Cycleway Fund as well. So, Christchurch is winning here.
Two other things I just want to really quickly point out was we had our Community Service Awards as well, which were a lot of fun, And also there was a joint community board seminar yesterday about alcohol licensing, so that information was valuable.
Jake, can I just pick you up on the liquor licensing thing? Does that mean that community boards can now appear at liquor licensing hearings?
Not to my understanding, no. No.
Okay. Okay. But you can have a legal representation.
I think they've been given delegation to do that.
Okay. Right. Phil, sorry.
Thanks, Vicky. Jake, I was going to ask you a similar question. Like, when the board go to the appeal authority, is the board looking at making a submission or actually supplying evidence? Because that's come up as being a crucial part to have the process right.
Maybe you can jump in here.
Sorry about that. My understanding is the board provided evidence to this as part of the first process, and there'll be a lawyer engaged to because I understand that the next process is really looking at what was presented. And
perhaps I can comment. The chair of the hearings panel at that previous hearing gave leave for the community board to actually engage and provide evidence. It wasn't expected that they would do that beforehand, but that's what happened. And so there was a workshop yesterday on the roles and responsibilities of community boards in these hearings. So to get some clarification of that, and it may well come back to council around deciding whether council delegates to community boards around providing submissions as opposed to supporting other community
Thank
interests.
you, Carleen. I'm glad the point's been raised because, in fact, I was at the workshop and it just seemed to me that there was a lack of clarity by some on the distinction between at this stage whether we would give evidence or make a submission. So I'm just raising
Even
that.
a lack of clarity
I know
from
that,
me
I'm
about
just
it,
making
so
sure,
yeah.
in fact, we don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Glenn and then Tim. All right, Tim.
Sorry, I apologise, I couldn't make the workshop, but because there is a clear difference between making a submission and evidence, because when you put in evidence, you've got to be prepared for cross-examination. So I think when we get advice, whether it's community board or councillors or whatever, it's all about preparation if you're going to step over that line from submission to evidence. So I'm not telling you how to suck eggs, but I mean that's the difference, isn't it?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, and Vicky, can I just say something to that as well?
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, it's really clear that council has delegated to community boards the ability to seek leave to be heard at the initial district licensing hearing. When it goes to ALA for appeal, the community board can also seek leave. What we've done in this case in terms of Phillipstown is actually sought leave with the council, so we're just having one lawyer representing both community board and council. But it is kind of different. I think we need to be really careful that the community board is not there as a party. It's there as a special recognition on behalf of the council, the territorial authority, and there does need to be some clarity and some, I think, better guidelines around just that process, because it is quite unclear even in the legislation itself around things like deadlines for when information needs to be provided, who should provide the information. One of the key questions that came from our community board at the initial district licensing hearing was, should we have legal representation? And there was some confusion over that. So I think it would benefit from having some really clear guidelines around how community boards can get involved. And hopefully that workshop yesterday, which obviously I wasn't at, is a good start towards progressing some really clear guidelines.
Right. Okay, thanks, Jane.
Just on that, we got that remit through local government conference asking the government to look at tweaking the legislation to give more emphasis or weight to community views, which would be represented by the community board when these applications are lodged. So
Okay.
that would be tie in quite well too.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. I'll put the motion to receive the community board report, and then if you want to, we'll deal with the tea kiosk as well. Is everybody okay with that? since it affects your board. Okay, so I'll just put the sorry. I have to have a mover and seconder. I keep forgetting those things. Dion moves and Sarah seconds. I'll put that. Those in favour, please say aye. Those opposed, carried. And would you like to